Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas. And today I have with me Rachel Robison, without an N, not Robinson, Rachel Robison, co-founder and CEO at Siege Technology Solutions. Rachel, how's it going today?
Hi, it's going great. Thanks.
Awesome. And Rachel and I halfway connected at InsurTech Connect 2021 in Vegas. And by halfway, basically she saw me there, but never actually got my attention. For anybody else who sees me at a conference, you have to interrupt. I am never not talking to somebody else, so let that be a lesson for everybody. So Rachel, we always start by giving you the chance to give the elevator pitch. What is Siege?
Sure. Well, Siege AOS is a CRM-based agency management system. So we have the full, true CRM system that also does the agency management functionalities with policy downloads and all those policy management functionalities that agencies need to operate their system, all on one single platform. Instead of agencies trying to piece things together and try to make things talk to each other, we have it together on one platform.
Okay, so let's kind of dig into that little by little. Okay, so a true CRM. Okay, so a CRM is a customer relationship management system. So basically, where a salesperson or a service person or whoever can keep track of all interactions with the customer, and then an agency management system. There's two big ones, right? There's what are they? I've never worked in an agency. Epic and Vertafore.
Well, the two giant players are Applied and Vertafore, the two biggest ones out there.
And then like Hawksoft is a smaller one, and there's a few other smaller ones. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've never worked in an agency. A lot of the listeners do work in agencies, and they could be clients for you. But help me, and I guess those of us in the carrier side understand. So like Epic from Applied and whatever the product is from Vertafore, they're agency management systems, but they're not CRMs.
Right. So what you run across with all these legacy agency management systems is they manage your policies well. So they help you manage the book of business that you have. But being on older technology, it's harder for them to change quickly. And so what agencies have realized that they need are not just to maintain their current book of business, but they want to grow their book of business. They want to be able to market to new customers. They want to be able to do all the client nurturing that people expect these days. People want to be treated personally in today's age. And then they want to be able to do a lot of cross-selling and upselling to grow that book of business. And so go ahead.
So all of that is hard from your standard agency management systems, basically?
Right. You do a lot of the limited functionality. You can run some reports, you can do some limited automations. But with today's technology, there are so many things that should be able to be automated and customized that is difficult and limited, if possible at all, in the current legacy systems.
Okay. And looking at your background and also what we were chatting about just before starting to record, so you're not a technology company that looked at insurance and said we want to build a tool for insurance, right? You actually came from the broker, the agent and broker side.
Right. We weren't a technology company just trying to find somewhere to make a buck or to fit in.
There's a lot of those.
We actually, both myself, I was an agent, a commercial agent for 11 years. And then my business partner also owns an insurance agency. He started a scratch agency, 20 some odd years ago. So we came from the agency side, and where our company grew out of is over that 20 some odd years that he had been in business, he had changed management systems 4 different times.
That's got to be super painful. Those are not easy transitions.
It is not an easy transition. It is painful. It's time consuming. Human nature is to resist change a lot of times. So you get a lot of pushback. So it does require a lot of effort, but that shows you the pain points in the agency that weren't being addressed. The pain was enough that willing to go through that pain to try to get something better to get to where it needed to be. And the problem is, even after going through 4 different systems, nothing did what we were needing it to do or what he was wanting it to do in his agency. And so we were trying to accomplish what we were trying to accomplish within the agency using multiple systems. We had the agency management system, which was managing our book of business. And then we had a separate CRM system that had come out, because CRMs are getting really big today. And so we had a separate system, and they didn't talk to each other. You had redundant duplicate entries. So you're using extra time for your employees to have to put in information in two different places, which labor is one of your most expensive, things in your agency. And then also your employees are frustrated. I mean, in today's digital age, why in the world do you have to input the same information twice when it's already in the computer somewhere? Yep. So there was a couple of issues you're having to deal with there. So.
Okay. So you guys came together going on 2 years ago, it looks like by your LinkedIn. And how did you build this thing? So you had an idea of what didn't work and what you wanted to be kind of unified. So how did you build it?
So at the time, I was working with my business partner, project management, trying to transition their system to a different agency management system that supposedly did something similar to what our system does. But after many months and lots of money, it didn't work. And so we just said, hey, we've got this CRM system that we love. It's amazing. It's user-friendly. Our agents love it. It was adoptable. He got agents using it, because that's one of the biggest problems with systems, is getting people to actually use them. And then so I said, why is there not a system that does both that's that simple to use? And so that's where we just said, it's not out there. We've searched. We're just going to build it ourselves. So that started the process. We actually started the process about 3 years ago. So before we actually launched the company, we were starting it. So it's actually been almost 3 years now in the making. So.
Okay. Is it built on top of Salesforce, or is it truly from the ground up?
Well, it is actually not built on top of Salesforce. And that's one of the things that differentiates us from a lot of the other people in the market that are trying to do something similar, because what most everybody else is doing is on Salesforce. And we had experience there. And I know some people like Salesforce. We went that route to start with another system. That was one of the systems we tried to switch to, and was one built on Salesforce. And it didn't work. Wasn't very user-friendly. Weren't able to do the customizations ourselves. We had to hire people to do it. So there's a lot of issues with that. And so that's why the CRM system that we use is Zoho CRM, which is actually Zoho is actually the largest CRM in the world in terms of users, larger even than Salesforce. Salesforce has more revenue, but Zoho actually has more users. And we chose that route because it was so user-friendly, so customizable. It was just night and day difference in the usability between that versus Salesforce. So that's why we built there.
It makes sense. I used Salesforce-based systems at 2 different carriers, and I saw. And by the way, at one carrier, I was a sales manager, and they did not have a CRM at all, which is its own nightmare. So very similar to what a lot of agencies deal with. But the 2 that had Salesforce, they were radically different implementations of Salesforce. And I can absolutely hear what you say, that it's not user friendly. It's hard. It's hard to get it right. There's a lot there, and a lot that you can customize, and it gets very expensive very quickly. And once you're done with the customization, how usable it is and how much you're going to be able to convince your employees, your people to use it is an open question. So by the way, I love the logo, the Trojan horse logo. Is there a story to the logo?
Well, it was just one of those things that I'm not sure why Siege came to mind, but I really liked it just because I see Siege AOS as being an agency's secret weapon, to coming in and taking over their marketplace, taking over their area. So we want to be the agency's secret weapon. So
makes sense. For those in the audience who did not have the benefit of a classical education like I did, or who are just not nerdy enough, so basically the myth of the Trojan horse, or the history of the Trojan, I don't remember if it was actually history, but basically the Trojan horse, was it the Greeks placed it as a gift at the door of the Trojans placed it as a gift on the door of the Greeks, who brought it in, and then it turned out the Trojans had hid it inside. So they penetrated the defenses by hiding inside the horse. So yes, it makes a lot of sense as your secret weapon. That's exactly what the Trojan horse is supposed to be. Yeah. So after 3 years of development, where's the CRM now? Are you in beta testing like some of the others out there, or are you fully on ready for clients?
Yeah, so we actually came out of beta and we actually released to the market earlier this year.
Okay.
Technically, I think we really started back in March, so we actually released to the market. So we are fully available. We do have customers on board and adding more each month. So it's exciting.
Fantastic. And what does it look like? So one of my listeners, who's an agency principal, gives you a call. What does the process look like to take a look at the system, to get an idea how it would look for us? What does that onboarding or what sales/onboarding process look like?
Sure. Well, anybody that's interested, we always do live demos. And the reason we do that is because the system is so substantial, because not only do you get the CRM and the agency management portion of it, Zoho also has an entire it's 40 plus, closer to 50 business applications that come included in the price as well. So they're really, it's almost the entire tech stack that you need. There's accounting, there's e-signatures, there's website hosting, there's form builders. I mean, like I said, 40 plus business applications that are included in the price. You can use them or not use them, so you don't have to get overwhelmed and think you have to change everything all at once, but they're there as you get comfortable and you want to build it, and they're all on that one platform. So since there is so much to it, everything we do is live demos and custom, because each agency is different. Each agency owner has there are universal pain points, but each agency does have separate things that are just unique to that agency. So we want to, instead of wasting time with a generic demo, figure out what that agency is looking for, what problems they're trying to solve, and show them how our system can address those problems. And we kind of go with that demo, whatever they want to see. So it is a unique and a customized approach to the demos.
So if you're watching on the YouTube side, and I remember to do this, I will share the image of like the 40 plus things that it does, because it's very easily listed on the website and very well illustrated. If I didn't remember to do it, or if you're listening to this on the audio version, make sure you go to siegeaos.com, and just down the page a little bit, you can see all the features, because it really is a lot of stuff. Yeah. That it can do.
Siege, I know Siege, it's SIEGEAOS.com. A lot of people misspell Siege, so like they misspell my last name too. Everything gets misspelled around here.
I'm tempted to make a joke about Southerners right here, and but I live in Atlanta, Georgia, so I don't want to get myself in trouble either. So okay. So it's pretty easy to get a demo. If we decide to move forward with it, what does the transition look like? How long does it take to transition? Do I need, Deloitte or a consulting firm to come install it for me? Because like Guidewire on the carrier side, or what does the transition to the system looks like once we've made the commitment?
Yes, well, having been on the agency side for many years and having facilitated the transitions before, I know firsthand what it's like and how daunting and scary that can be. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh yeah, you flip a switch and it's done and piece of cake and everybody's happy. So it does require a little bit of work and a little bit of effort, just like anytime you're going to transition systems. But we do try to go ahead and we do as much individual hands-on customization with the agency as possible, because we do want to make it as easy as possible and as seamless as possible, because we want agents to love the system. Coming from the agency side, that's what's most important to us, is simplicity, ease of use, and that it makes lives easier, not harder. So we'll come in and then we do a lot of the custom setup on the back end for the agency. I'm getting just the basics set up. And then we do live training for the first month on whatever kind of schedule works for the agency. Usually it's an hour a week session that we do. And then by the time that month's over, the individual one-on-one training, usually people are comfortable with the system. We may get a few email questions, but after that, usually we don't even hear from people much after that. So it really is, while there's so much you can learn and do with it, the basics of running the day-to-day operations, really, it doesn't take that long to get accustomed to it. Like again, ease of use, simplicity, and customization were key points when we're building this out. So,
okay, and I know that it's only been beyond the beta for the last few months or the last several months, what kind of early results are the clients reporting?
The people that are using the system so far, we've had very positive results. I mean, everybody seems to love it. We obviously, being a new product, we are constantly innovating and constantly improving. And that's one thing that we want to make sure our users also understand, is that we really do listen to our agents and want to be guided by agents. We're not up in some silver tower in some big city, like saying, oh, agencies should run this way or that way, because everybody is different. But we really do want to listen to our agencies. So as we have ideas come in, and there's people out there that have these fantastic ideas, we're listening, and things that make sense, we're going to try to implement, and offer to agencies across the system. But the other thing is, the system is so customizable. We provide the tools and the guidance and the training to help people learn how to customize their own system so they can make it exactly what they want it to be for themselves as well. So they can, it's usable enough to do it yourself, and it does have open API. So if you got really smart people, you can connect with any company you want to that has APIs. But you can do it yourself without a computer science degree. Most things are drag and drop. And then if you want to go further than that, and you've got somebody that can do a little bit of programming, or want to hire somebody to come in and do some programming, I mean, the sky's the limit, whatever you can dream. So.
Okay. For anybody listening, if you bring in the system and then you need some temporary programming help, I can help with that on the Jacobson side. So keep that in mind, because what we do is we provide experienced talent for temporary needs, and we do IT people, not often, but we do them as long as it's within insurance. So thank you for the opportunity to
sure, absolutely
to put in my own ad there. We did not coordinate ahead of time to do that, because I do very little prep before the recordings. Okay, so it's easy. It's customizable, even without an IT person. It plays with other APIs. And if you do have an IT person, or if you want to get one temporarily a developer, you can even customize it even further.
Right. Anything basic that the standard agency is going to use, you don't have to have any kind of computer science background. It's a lot of drag and drop built in features, but the system is open so that you can customize it as you wish, even beyond that. So
okay, is it best suited for an agency of a particular size when it comes to number of employees, or is it flexible enough? And the pricing, as much as you can share about the pricing, is it flexible enough for like a mom and pop shop and a 50 people shop?
Sure. Well, one of the other big things that that's important to me, is really trying to provide some sort of way for small and medium, size agencies to be able to compete in the market. Because in today's market, these small mom and pop shops are getting squeezed. Mergers and acquisitions are like fire right now. And so you've got these agencies that are struggling to compete in this market. And we're trying to provide a way that they can actually have a little foothold in the market and get a step up in the market. So we're fantastic with small to medium-sized businesses. We have agencies, all the way down to just, 1, 2, 3 person agencies. And it gives them the whole, with all the different business applications, these small agencies, they don't have the resources to have a separate HR department, a separate accounting department, a separate marketing department. So this gives them different resources to kind of manage that all in one place. So it is very reasonable for a small business. That being said, it is scalable up to 1,000 employees or more, and it's fantastic for managing multiple locations, for managing remote workers. There's all sorts of different features built in with remote assist, with meetings, with Click, which is kind of their version of Slack. All sorts of fantastic ways for managing remote employees in multiple locations as well.
Okay, and it's priced per seat.
It is priced per seat, yes.
Okay, so there's no minimum like $10,000 commitment, or
no minimum. There's no 10-person minimum, but it is very manageable for a small agency to get what they need to run their agency.
Fantastic. I've never worked in an agency, but based on what I've observed as an underwriter, as a sales manager, and just people that call in to chat with Tony, and nowadays helping agencies with staffing via my job at Jacobson, it really is. I can't tell you how often I get calls from tiny agencies. I just don't know what to tell them. It's they're falling behind on the technology, and there's so many options out there. It's so hard to choose, and many of those options, even if you're willing to make the investment, they're just not designed for that small agency. And like you said, they're getting acquired every day. So it's great to hear that you do have something here that is designed to be flexible enough to be able to help.
And talking about the staffing with the agencies, the other thing that you run across is you have a lot of these smaller agencies that have gotten behind just because, one, it's intimidating to change. Being a small agency, a lot of times they don't have the resources they don't think they have the resources to expand and making that effort to change. But what I like to point out is nobody regrets the day they went paperless. You know, that was a huge daunting task that these agencies had to go through when they went paperless, and they think they're never going to get there. But now that you got there, you're never going to go back. And then what you run across is these agencies to get behind on their technology. And it's hard to attract young, fresh talent also, because you've got these millennials and younger that are coming in, and they expect technology that works. They expect smart technology. They expect something that was built, recently, not something from, the 80s. And they're also expecting these CRM systems, because that's what everybody's using these days to be able to manage their current clients and to sell. And that's what people expect. If they're coming in having to work on these old platforms and this old technology, it's hard to get them excited and keep them in the agency.
It's like we colluded ahead of time. I wrote the book on how to engage millennials in the insurance industry. It's called Insuring Tomorrow. It's really meant for
buy Tony's book.
What's that?
I said buy Tony's book.
Awesome. It really was meant for carriers, but we've had many reviews and many emails from agents, and I've spoken at many big eye events about the book. And I agree 100% with you. Everything that I've seen out there, you cannot succeed in engaging and retaining your younger talent if you're in a green screen. I don't think green screens are common in the agency world, but if you're in a system that is 20 years old and simply has not updated into the modern era, it's going to scare the kids away. That one of the things that they tell us in surveys is they want to work with modern technology, and having myself dealt with being a salesperson, and in my case a sales manager, marketing rep, without a CRM, it was a nightmare. And I was on the field to make it even worse. But basically, anybody whose job is to grow a book is going to struggle in today's day and age without a proper CRM. It's just a basic tool of the trade to try to grow to try to do any sales today. So if you don't have that in your agency management system, and it sounds like it's just not a common part of the agency management system, I highly encourage you to take a look, because what got you there won't get your kids there, so to speak. Won't get the kids there when it comes to being able to grow the agency. And you talked about it earlier about how agencies still need to grow, and what I see out there a lot is a lot of agencies with stable books, which means slowly declining, but it's rare that the smaller agencies are actually growing. Right. Generally, that they're slowly declining. So anything that can help them grow enough to not decline, or preferably to grow,
exactly, is
a great win. So yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Absolutely perfect sense. Anything else about Siege that we have not touched on thus far?
Well, I think that's it. One of the other hot points that I've kind of briefly mentioned is the amount of customization that can be done within the system. So like I mentioned, each business, especially smaller businesses and even the larger agencies, they're like individuals. They've got their own personalities, they've got their own quirks, they've got their own niches that they operate within. And a lot of the systems, they're very static, or if they say they allow customization, it's like, okay, you can customize within this little bitty box here. But this system is highly customizable. You can add your own fields, whatever fields you want to add, and then those fields are fully utilizable in any workflows or reporting that you do. It's got high-powered analytics in there, and then the amount of automations that can be built in to the system, again, that don't require coding. You just use fields and triggers, and then it will go in and send emails or text messages or assign tasks, and allow you to manage those tasks. And allow you to do a lot of automations and automating these redundant tasks that the system should be able to do, that saves the agency time. The agent doesn't need to be sending the same email over and over again. The system gets in the email, the customer feels like they're getting the personal attention. The system's sending out automatically, and then leaves the agent open for those higher level activities, the actual sales process, and those higher level activities, instead of doing the day-to-day things that the system should be able to do for them. So
I want it for myself. My day job, I sell staffing services to insurance companies, and
we'll hook you up.
I don't have a lot of automation on my side. I do have a solid CRM. It just doesn't. We're working on the automation piece. Certainly much better than no CRM.
Sure. Well, hey, we can do just the CRM. We can hook you up.
So Rachel, thank you very much for your time. I think you've done a fantastic job of explaining how this can help agencies. And when it goes live, we're recording on November 1st. It'll probably be December before it goes live. But when it goes live, I will make sure to tag both your LinkedIn and the Siege AOS website. Oh, and I just noticed that AOS stands for Agency Operating System.
Yes.
So basically more than an AMS.
Exactly. We're not an AMS. That doesn't encompass what we do. We're not a CRM, because we're more than that as well. So neither one of those fits, because we tinkered back around what we're going to call it. And so we ended up Agency Operating System, because it gives you what you need to operate your agency, truly operate your agency, instead of just manage policies or manage customers.
And it does free me from the AMS I was using before. It's a full transition, exactly. Which I think, given what I've heard about most agents say about the big AMSs, this is a good thing. They're not going to mourn moving away from them. I won't say I haven't found anybody, but I rarely find anybody that loves their current AMS system. Yes. However, I think that is a very fair way to put it.
So the agencies on our system, they love it. The feedback that we've gotten is that they love it. So, it's something new that's not out there that they've been looking for, and it's like a breath of fresh air. So.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And I look forward to hear how you guys keep growing it, and hope that you become an industry household name, like the big guys.
I hope so too. That's the goal. One day you'll see Siege horses everywhere.
Perfect. I'd love to be able to say I knew you way back when.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tony.